800,000 new manufacturing jobs. But you wouldn't know from all the negative news you hear. But we're getting through this, one of the greatest job creation periods in American history. For real, that's a fact.
For real, that's a fact. Joe Biden talking about job creation in the country, of course, on Labor Day, touting his background, his successes in that area. Matter of fact, he went straight to talking about unions too.
When I ran for president, I told you I'd have your back, and I have. You know, there are a lot of politicians in this country who don't know how to say the word union. They talk about labor, they don't say union. It's union. I'm one of them. I'm proud to say union. I'm proud to be the most pro-union president, according to the experts in American history. And by the way, I make no bones about that. Folks, in this Labor Day, let me tell you what we're celebrating. We're celebrating jobs, good-paying jobs, jobs you can raise a family on, union jobs.
I feel like it was one of those loosely scripted speeches there, because we know Joe Biden when he's off script a little bit. He has to find out that the experts, according to the experts, they said things are going on. It's fine, I get it. But he's trying to get through the speech there a little bit. And not labor, but union. And I always point this out, or think about it to myself as well. Whenever we talk about our weekends, which isn't really a thing for anyone else that works their normal jobs outside of the office and normal scheduling. But the weekend exists. People talk about TGI Friday. No, man, we have a 3-day weekend. All that is a thing because of labor fights, because that was absolutely not a thing before. And now they're trying to reel back things like child labor laws. So who knows what else is next? We never know how fragile things are until people start challenging them, which we've of course seen. So Joe Biden can talk about those types of things, where we've been and where we continue to go, and where even the opposing party wants to take us. But he's also gone to the leader of that opposing party to talk about what it is that he didn't do.
When the last guy was here, you were shipping jobs to China. Now we're bringing jobs home from China. When the last guy was here, your pensions were at risk. We helped save millions of pensions with your help. When the last guy was here, he looked at the world from Park Avenue. I look at it from Scranton, Pennsylvania. I look at it from Claymont, Delaware. Not a joke. Guess what? The great real estate builder, the last guy here, he didn't build a damn thing. Under my predecessor, Infrastructure Week became a punchline. On my watch, infrastructure has been a decade and it's a headline.
We like to fight here. David, you're up there in the Northeast. He mentioned Scranton. He mentioned what, Delaware. Is it happening up there like that? Are you one of those blue collar workers that can confirm this?
Oh, it's interesting. On Route 7, which is about, not far from where I live, and you go down about 4 or 5 miles, there's an intersection where there's this big giant sign that says this construction work made possible by Build Back Better. And so I think there is something to the idea that infrastructure is being noticed across the country. There's a lot of construction projects. I think people get a general sense that, yes, we are doing a better job in terms of spending on infrastructure. I think the other thing that's happening is the economy is actually, Biden's right, the economy is doing really well. Bidenomics, no matter what people want to say about it, the job creation stretch is remarkable, and it's defied a lot of the predictions that were coming from Wall Street and from a lot of market analysts. So Biden certainly has that going for him. I think the concern that so many people have is that, well, inflation was still pretty bad over the past year. Things tend to cost a lot more than they did a year ago. And the other part about it is, how come these terrific economic numbers are not translating into a wider lead that Biden should have in the polling over Donald Trump? To only be 2 or 3 points ahead of Donald Trump, a guy who's been, indicted on 91 charges, and Biden's got this great economic record, that's a problem. So I almost feel like if people just want to vote just based on the economy, sure, Biden's doing great, and Bidenomics is working. No matter how it's working, it's working. But it feels like we're in this period where people are focused on other stuff.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.